need that for that. That's a bad one. I need a teaspoon, tablespoon, teaspoon, because I'm going to try this time, and a half. Wait. Baking soda, baking powder. Don't need those again. Because I'm going to leave that in here. Alright, I just realized that apparently it was recording some when I was cleaning up, so I apologize for the dead air, if you want to call it that, but it is what it is. Okay, so I've gone ahead and I've gotten a pan lined with baking paper, and this is because I make a big batch of biscuits, and then I'm going to bake some off. But these will go into the freezer so that I can then put them in a Ziploc bag, a freezer bag, and then I'll pull them, you know, as I need them. And this saves me from having to make, you know, biscuits every few days or a couple times a week. Doesn't matter. This is my lard. That's all this is pure lard. And then a cast iron skillet that I've gone ahead and put my lard into. So I'm going to go ahead and set my oven to 220 degrees Celsius or 425 degrees Fahrenheit. So while that's preheating, we're going to go make biscuits. Alright, so we'll be back, and I've got to get all this moved in there, and then we'll be back. Alright, so we're back in here. Now, what I like to do is close to, I'm not measuring this, but it's roughly a half a cup of your lard. Now, if you're in the U.S., you're probably going to use Crisco. I advise you to look at the ingredients. And, yeah, a lot of people will use butter. It's all on what you want to do, okay? Since I've been here, I used to use Crisco. I will not lie. But I can't get Crisco. And, which is technically fine because, let's be honest, we've all learned about things recently. So, pure lard, I'm good with. And I put this in this container myself. So what have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Basically, that's a half a cup, right? 8 tablespoons. 4 tablespoons and a fourth. 2/4 to make that. So I've done 9, so we're good. So let me go put this up and we'll be right back. So because I want it ready, I'm going to go ahead and pour myself 1 3/4 cup of buttermilk. Now, I may only need 1 1/2, but for just in cases, I like to have that ready. Okay, so I just wanted you to see that, and we'll be right back. All right, now, you can use a fork, you can use your fingers. I have one of these pastry cutters, and we are going to cut that, whatever fat you're using, into your flour. Now, these are my biscuits, okay? I've seen a lot of people do biscuits. And sometimes I like to watch other things, you know, just for ideas. Or to see if maybe somebody is doing something different that, you know, I could try. See if I can make mine, you know, whatever I make better. Let's just say I have not found that. Okay. Now, my mama makes really good biscuits. I don't actually have her recipe. This one I worked out on my own. Basically, when I moved over here, and that's because I can't go to the store and buy biscuits like you can in the U.S. They don't have them here. Even the restaurants don't serve biscuits over here. Yes, there is McDonald's. There's, what do you call it? Burger King. What else have I seen over here? It's all their version. They are not the same as ours. They just carry the same name, okay? But I've seen Pizza Hut. I've seen Domino's. I've seen Taco Bell recently. I was just told that there's now a Wendy's that opened up, I don't know, about 2 hours from where I'm at. That's neither here nor there. I don't think Wendy's ever did biscuits anyways. I don't know. Never really eat there. You can't do all this and be a fast food junkie, okay? You can't. Let's not lie about it. All right. So what we're looking for is we do not want large, like that, pieces of noise pollution. Sorry. That's just what I call the sirens. Anyway, because I hear them so much. And no, I'm not in a city. I'm not a city girl. Can't handle it. So we want as fine pieces as possible into this, okay? Because as this melts, when your biscuits are cooking, they open up those nice soft pockets into your biscuits. And so, like I said, some people will use butter. I've actually never used butter in my biscuits. I did try it one time. I thought it was kind of a waste, so I don't do that. I didn't find that the butter added enough flavor to justify putting it into my biscuits, okay? I hope that makes sense. And I'm not trying to just ramble. I don't know what, for somebody that's never made biscuits, you're not going to know what you're looking for. So I thought, well, I should probably show the whole thing. So I know that this will be a slightly long video. I'm not even going to apologize anymore because everything I show is from scratch. Therefore, you have to know how to do it. And guess what? That means the videos are not short. I know there's people out there that can show you how to make biscuits and they're little shorts. But did you learn anything? Or were you sitting there going, okay, well, what did you do next? What did you do next? I've been making biscuits for years. And even I've seen some of these videos and been like, well, what did you do? Okay, so when you have it nice and worked in, it should kind of look like cornmeal. I forget what it's called other than the U.S. We're going to say cornmeal. The stuff you make your cornbread with. Yes, I do make my own cornbread, literally from just scratch. It's not from like U.S. Where your cornmeal is all ready to go and all you got to do is add your mayonnaise, your milk. Mayonnaise, milk. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so everything that I make now is 100% from ingredients that have to be put together. Alright, so I like to turn my bowl and make sure that my pastry cutter here gets anything that could be stuck to the bottom to make sure that I don't have any large clumps, okay? So it should look coarse, just like this, if you can see that. And, well, you can. I just don't know if the lighting is helping you or not. I do apologize. It's yet another non-sunny day, and my baking station is literally next to a bunch of windows, so it just tells you how cloudy it is. All right. I'm only going to pause so I can run this to my sink, and I'll be right back. Okay. I'm going to add a lot of my milk. Not all. So I've still left that 1/4 cup. Remember I told you at least a 1/2 cup, but that I might need the 1 3/4. So we're going to blend this in. You notice I've taken my ring off. This is a messy process. There might be an unmessy process. I don't know. This is how I've always made my biscuits. So I'm not overworking my dough. What I'm actually doing is just taking this and gently, you know, pushing and folding, because I want to get as much dry off of that bottom as possible. And I know there's people out there that's going to say, don't overwork your dough, honey. I'm 47 years old, or 46, sorry. I've been making biscuits since I was a kid. I'm not worried. Okay. Alright. So, I'm going to set that there, and I always keep flour on the side. I always keep a dough scraper, just in case it is needed. Now, my worktop is clean. Told y'all that. Got some dough on my finger. Biscuit cutter. Well, I think these are cookie cutters. I use it as a biscuit cutter. Alright, I'm going to flour my worktop. You don't want too much, but you definitely want, you know, at least the length that you think you got going on here. And then okay. So I'm only going to show you the first little bit because I would do, you know, I want to keep this under 20. You don't need to see me cut them all, I don't think. But anyway, what I do is I come through and I press my dough together. I'm going to fold this. And now I'm going to give this one more fold and a little bit more flour. Okay, this creates our layers, all right? I don't suggest using a rolling pin. Just pat out, put a little bit of flour on top. And you want to pat this out to, I like to get, you know, about a 1/2 inch thick. Sometimes it's a little thicker. It is what it is. So I'm going to bake 4, and then the rest of these are going to go in the pan, okay? I'm going to get those in the oven, and then I'll be right back and we'll finish this. Well, I'll finish this, and I'll just show you what I got when I'm done. Just for reference, I just gather my dough back up, press it, and then I fold it a few more times, because remember, I just cut the dough. So, not a lot, just a few. And then I'm just going to pat it out and repeat the process, okay? So I have, 4, 8, 9, 10, 10, and the one little ugly biscuit. Now, normally I take my ugly that's left over and I'll either put it in a bag to put it in the freezer to turn into hand pies later, or I'll go ahead and make hand pies, but I'm not doing that today. So with this, plus the 4 I've got out there, 15, you know, it all depends on your cutter, if I'm honest with you. All right, so those are in the oven for 12 minutes. They might need 13, but I've got them in for 12. I'm going to get all this cleaned up, put these in the freezer before they start trying to rise. We'll be back. Fresh out of the oven. So what I'm going to do now is I've got some melted butter here. I'm going to brush the butter on the top, and then I'm going to let these sit for about 5 minutes, okay? And then I will pull these out and I will show them to you. I'm trying my best to stay under 20 minutes. We'll be right back. Okay. So, you have your biscuit. Beautiful. And they'll all be the same. So, all you got to do, nice, soft, and fluffy. You can add yourself bacon and egg. You can do jams, jellies, just butter, just egg, egg and cheese, bacon, egg, and cheese, sausage. You remember the candied jalapenos? That's how I like mine. I like mine with that, or the homemade breakfast sausage that I make. And the next time I do need to make that, I'll make a video in case anybody's, interested. But hey, I hope you go give this recipe a try. I hope you love it. If not, like it. And as I always say, if you don't, then I hope you find the recipe that's right for you out there somewhere. And as always, have yourself a very wonderful day.